Today is June 27th, 2023. What is so special about this day?
That's my birthday.
It's your birthday. What is your name?
Benjamin Midler, M-I-D-L-E-R.
Ben, we're only talking right now about what happened when you entered into Auschwitz and what happened when you got branded with a number. So, what do you remember about going into Auschwitz? When did you enter Auschwitz and how old were you?
I entered Auschwitz on May 1944 and I was 16 years old because I was there. This is my third camp.
How did you get to Auschwitz?
I was in Blizhin, and because the Russian came close with the front, came close to Blizhin, that's by Radom in Poland, so they sent us to another camp.
How did you get there?
Get there by train.
What kind of a train?
A cargo train with 150 people they would put into a car.
Were there any women in the train or all men?
All men.
When the train stopped, did you have any idea where you were going?
No, I didn't know where I'm going or which camp I am.
When you got to the camp, what did you see? What made you realize, was this different than any other camp, or was it like the other camps you had been in?
It was a difference because here we went through a selection. In the other camps, we didn't go through a selection. We went into the camp, and the next day we went straight to work. Here we went through a selection by the well-known Dr. Mengele, and they were doing selection who is going to go to the crematorium and who is going to go to the labor camp. But they put up two boards, horizontal or vertical. If somebody touched it, would go to the labor camp. If you didn't touch it, it would go to the crematorium.
How many times did you see Dr. Mengele?
Twice.
What was the reason for seeing him twice?
The first reason for the selection, and the second time before when we had to leave Birkenau when the Russian front came close, and we had to walk because the trains couldn't come and take us. So we walked in December of 1944. We had to walk a week in cold weather, in snow. We had to walk until we get the trains to take us to Germany.
Did Dr. Mengele speak to you?
No.
Did he point? Did he have a stick? How did he communicate with you?
Communicate with a stick. He didn't speak. He only showed us this. I gotta go to the two boards, wherever is the measurement, and that's it. And then he just told me, go to next to the tables. Over there was tables with people from the camps, and they were putting on the numbers on my arm.
Explain to me how you got tattooed. What happens when he pointed and there were people sitting at the table? Who was sitting at the table?
People from the camp sitting at the table, and they were putting on the numbers. How they put on, I don't remember. Which way, I don't remember either. All I remember is I was looking, they're putting on the numbers on my arm.
Did it hurt?
A little.
Were you bleeding?
No.
But you noticed that the ink was in your arm. Do you remember what you were thinking?
I don't remember.
When you think now about the numbers, what do you think about it?
This I'm going to be alive.
Because?
Because wherever was not numbered would go to a different line, and they didn't send them to be numbered. They sent them straight to the crematorium.
What kind of work did you do in Auschwitz?
I was draining the swamps, what was around the camp, draining the swamps, putting in pipes to drain the ground.
How long did you do that in Auschwitz before you went to the next camp?
For all my 6 months.
About 6 months. What was your food like?
Food like was in the morning, imitation coffee with a thin slice of bread with margarine. At lunchtime was the soup was like bouillon soup. Nothing in there. You couldn't find no vegetables and no potatoes. And at dinner time, a thinner slice of bread with margarine and marmalade.
When you look back now at the marking that's on your arm, does it make you realize where you were? Do you have nightmares when you look at your number on your arm?
I'm a positive man. I don't think about the life wherever I went through. I think about life what will be tomorrow.
Have you had people where they recognized your tattoo and they pointed you out, that they ever see you with a short shirt and they said, wait a minute, were you in a camp? Did anybody ever recognize your number?
They didn't recognize my number. People only recognize when they see me now, and they asked me where it was. So I told them there's only 2 camps where they got numbered. One is the main Auschwitz camp, where they put on the numbers on the outside of the arm, and in Birkenau, Auschwitz-Birkenau, they put in the number inside of the arm.
Let me see your number. Is that okay? So yours, it looks like it's upside down, where it's the B is upside down, 2433.
That's the right number.
And that's the right one. And then can you show me if it would have been in Auschwitz where the number would have gone? So that would have been on the forearm,
Yes.
on the front. And at one time, they used only a triangle with just a number. And I think that was before they did Auschwitz-Birkenau. So when people can look at your arm, it's easy for you to say, yes, that was 1943, 1944, when they did the AB system,
Yes.
right?
And there's only 2 camps. The other camps, they would get a number on a piece of cloth, put on the jacket. If the person dies, the number dies with them.
Repeat that. On your clothing, did you have the same number on your clothing?
No.
No? Explain one more time.
The other camps would get a number on a piece of cloth,
On a cloth.
to put on the jacket,
Mm-hmm.
and wherever the person dies, the number goes with him. No recollection, no memory of him.
No 2 numbers were the same.
No.
Wow. Your number is very new with B, Birkenau, 2433. So does that mean that there were 2,432 people tattooed ahead of you?
Yes.
Do you know how many people got tattooed?
No.
Okay, we're going to find that out. We're going to do research on that. When you see a comic or a graphic where you see the number, what does that make you do? What is it?
It means he was with me in the camp like I was.
Do you think it's important for people to continue showing the number for education?
It's very important. This way they know this Holocaust was for real, and not like the deniers, what they say the Holocaust never happened. And that's the proof that I was in the camps of Auschwitz-Birkenau.
So you got to the camp, you go through Dr. Mengele, you get tattooed. Tell me, did you have any friends in the camp?
I have no friends. I didn't speak to nobody
How come?
because I was one mind. I had how to get together with my family because I left them in a hiding place, and I thought they'd still be alive when I get out.
But what made you not want to talk to anybody in the camp?
because I had one goal, is to stay alive and not to get involved in anything, to see what could I do to go to stay alive. And God helped me, because that's why I was in 6 camps. I volunteered to go from one camp to another, thinking this other camp couldn't be any worse from this one. And that helped me, because one camp before the last one, if I wouldn't volunteer to go to another camp, I would be dead today.
Did people say hi to you? Did you say hi back to them? Were you only by yourself? What was it like for 6 months not speaking to anybody?
Didn't bother me. I had only one thing on my mind, how to stay alive. That's the only thing.
Were other people like that where nobody said anything, or do you remember people speaking to one another?
I don't remember.
You blocked it out.
I blacked out everything. I even blacked out so much that I forgot that I had a sister.
You forgot that you had a sister.
Yes.
And when did you realize?
When I got freed, when I came to the United States, you show me a picture. This I'm standing with my brother and sister.
Wow.
So that tells you how much I blacked out.
Do you remember being hungry, or did your body get used to the lack of nutrition?
My body got used to lack of nutrition.
Were you sad?
All the time.
All the time.
That's why I didn't speak to nobody.
Do
I
you
didn't have the guts to make a conversation with anybody, because I was only in my mind how to stay alive and to see my family again.
Did you ever think about escaping?
Never. You could not escape, because all the defenses were electric. You couldn't leave no place.
You speak Polish. What was the language they spoke in Auschwitz?
Everybody, I didn't speak much Polish, because in our town we were 65% Jewish, and we spoke Yiddish on the streets. I know very little Polish, and because I didn't speak to nobody anyway, so I didn't use nothing.
Did you understand what the Nazis were saying when they tried to speak to you? Or did when the prisoners spoke to you, did they speak in Yiddish?
When the prisoners spoke to me and the Nazis spoke, I understood, because Yiddish is a jargon from the German language, so I understood anyway.
When did you get your voice back? When did you realize you could start speaking again?
When I got freed, then the first thing I did, I went to my hometown, and when I didn't find my family, I got freed, so I went with a train, and only army trains, because I was freed on the Russian side, so it was only Russian trains going to Russia through Poland. I tried to go down in Poland, and they didn't let me, because Polish people with guns were trying to look for Jews to kill them. So I went to Russia to unload the train, and when I unloaded, I stayed in the army camp, and I worked in a commissary, and somehow I finally to get 2 weeks vacation to go to see
to get
my
a
parents.
vacation. You went to get a vacation.
2 weeks vacation.
Paperwork
to go see my
for
parents.
a absence.
And to get that, I bribed the secretary. I gave her 2 bottles of vodka, and that's why I got the paper that I could go for 2 weeks vacation,
Where did you get the vodka from?
because I worked in the commissary.
And did you buy it? Did you?
I bought it.
You bought it. You raised enough money to buy the vodka. Did you know that you would use the vodka for bribing, or were you thinking one day you were going to drink it?
For bribing. I know I got to give her to be able to get
The stamp,
to get
the documents.
document to go to Poland.
How long did it take to get tattooed? Do you remember?
I don't remember nothing, how long, how they did it or anything.
Did you turn your head or did you look at your arm?
I don't know.
You don't remember? And were there other people getting tattooed when you got tattooed? There was a
Yes.
group of people?
Yes.
Did you ever did you ever see anybody when you got out of Auschwitz? In all your years of traveling, did you ever meet somebody who was in the camp when you were there?
I met a few people, was both from the same city like I am, and I met them in my hometown, Bialystok, and we went because in 1993 there was the Jewish people put up a monument for the uprising of the Jews from 1943. So I went to Poland, and with me went some people who were in the camps like me, only they didn't stay in Birkenau, they sent them to different camps. After they get the tooth, they send them to work in a factory next to Birkenau, and I only met them when I put up the monument in Bialystok, Poland, for the uprising.
Did you ever compare numbers? Did you ever see the person that had the number in front of you or
Yes.
behind you?
Yes,
What was it? Was it the person in front of you or behind you or both?
none of them,
None of them
none of them.
with the B.
So I know we were in the same camp.
Yeah. And did it start with a 2? Like would it have been 2? So
I don't know.
In the
I just took
2000s.
the B, so I know he was in Birkenau.
do you know how many people got tattooed the day that you got tattooed?
No,
Okay. I can look that up, by the way. I have a book.
and it's not, I don't want to know.
You don't want to know. No, sorry, I have a new life. Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Tell me what happens when you see a comic or a graphic.
By seeing the comic and graphic, this, I think, could show the people does the thing happen, and they'll know how it happened by listening to the people what they were there, and how their life was then, and how they lived through it.
So rather than reading a few pages about what happened, you can show a comic or a graphic that becomes universal, that every language can understand. Do you agree?
Yes.
Tell me, when you see a photograph or when you see somebody's artwork that is a comic or graphic, do you agree that they drew what they saw?
I agree. They drew what they saw at that time.
Right, because in Auschwitz, people didn't have iPhones or cameras, but they were able to get
A
whatever pencil or charcoal or dirt or rock to create the image of what they saw. And that was not 100% real. That was 1,000,000% real, correct?
Yes.
Were you an artist yourself?
No.
No? Do you remember people drawing in Auschwitz?
Some of them, not too many.
Did you see any of the things that people drew?
I saw only, I don't remember what they drew.
Do you remember people where they included the tattoo when they drew?
Yes.
Thank you.